No, a goldfish does not have a 3-second memory. No, the North Star is not the brightest star. No, coal doesn't turn into diamonds. Surprised? There are literally hundreds of more pieces of information where that came from in my book, Facts That Aren't True. Click the link in the description to learn more. So, what is it that the Democrats are for that you think is just really bad, and what is the alternative that Trump is offering that's better?
I guess it's mostly on the social side of things. I think that domestically they're completely different, and then on foreign policy they're just two of the same type of you know two birds of a feather. But I guess domestically, I feel like the right in general, not even really just MAGA, kind of care more about the citizens of this country more than the left does. I think that the left
What?
values I don't know, immigrants and really just destructive policies more than they value. And I don't know, that's just how I feel. Abortion,
I,
mass immigration, things like that I just don't think are healthy. I think that they drive division between us that really shouldn't really exist.
why should
I mean,
immigration be such a divisive issue?
I mean, if you see the news that happened today in California at the marijuana, or I don't know if I want to say that, but the fields, right? The plant, the farm.
Yeah, it got raided with helicopters because there's this ideological drive to kick immigrants out of the country. That's divisive because one
Right.
party has
Well,
sort of scapegoated
well,
them
that's not the whole
and taken
story,
from a
though.
classical playbook and said, the reason your life sucks is because of these people. So yeah, I
Okay,
would agree that there's division, but that's not division caused by the left.
that's not the whole story. Obviously, there was a raid there, but there was
Right.
what? There was illegal immigrants there, and how many children were there in the marijuana fields picking marijuana crops? 10 or 12 that were unaccompanied. So there's
But buddy,
obviously
it's
child.
Republicans that are pushing for rollbacks on child labor. It is Republican lawmakers that are trying to get kids back in factories, that are rolling back like protect like I think maybe it was Florida or whatever. They're like, yeah, it used to be illegal for kids to work night shifts on school nights, but we're gonna get rid of that now. Like it's just absolutely like the left, the
Why would it be like high
like
school?
labor
High school.
relations between
Right, right.
wages and job protection and preventing from getting fucking scammed. The right has absolutely nothing but destruction for ordinary people in mind with any of that stuff. They're the union busters. They're the put kids in factories. They're the don't do anything
Why?
about wage growth party, and so much more.
Okay. So as far as MAGA being a cancer, why do you think it's a cancer?
So
And
I'm
why is
not.
it less cancer
Yeah,
than what the left
I
does?
draw a distinction. So by this, I really mean the hardcore 30% or whatever that are behind him all the way, and the mindset of what he does, and the just unthinkably corrupt and stupid things that he does. For example, um, like like his meme coin thing. Do you approve of him taking $350 million in profit while 700,000 of his small wallet buyers of his Bitcoin lost almost $4 billion? And do you approve of how he had that private dinner for his top buyers, which included this Chinese guy who was actually wanted by the United States, but was allowed to go to the dinner because he personally gave Trump $40 million?
The meme coin, I'm honestly not very versed in, so I'd have to take your word on if that's how that happened. If that is how that happened, then no, I wouldn't approve of that.
Right.
And,
I
and
mean,
that's
he should
also
be
why
impeached
I'm
for
not.
it.
Well, I'm not sitting here saying I approve of everything Donald Trump does or everything the Republicans do. I'm not going down that vein. I mean, what I'm really saying is, even in what's what I'm looking for, even with those things, I would still rather that man be in charge of our country than Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Gavin Newsom, like someone
Why?
like that would be.
Why?
I just don't think that they have our best interest in mind. And honestly, maybe you'd probably say the
Yeah,
same
but
about
yeah,
Trump, but
but
that's
be
how I feel about him.
specific.
Okay.
I don't think
Uh,
Trump is in it for
I mean,
anybody other than himself and other rich people, but only to the extent that those rich people will
I guess
enrich him.
two specific examples would be the fact that we know that Joe Biden probably wasn't really even running the country in the first place for the last, whatever, 2 years of his term. And then the next person they put in line, Kamala Harris, was not even democratically elected. So, I mean, who is
I
she to
agree
be?
that that was terrible, but what does that have to do with
Okay.
you living a better
Wow.
life? For example, Joe Biden brought back the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Donald Trump once again got rid of it. That program has given back ordinary people like you and me I think it's like $12 billion. And he just said, nope, fuck it. We're not doing that. And then they lie about everything about it, like that it leads to political debanking. The Consumer Financial Protection
I'm sorry,
Bureau.
you cut off there for a second.
Well, what did you hear?
You said what happened with you said what happened with $12 billion? I'm sorry.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. It's given customers back around $12 billion from things like credit card scams and hidden fees from things like, Ticketmaster and StubHub. And obviously, I already said it, but like obviously the credit card.
That was one good thing that Biden did. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and Trump got rid of it. Trump
done.
is Biden had Lena Khan. She was extremely good on antitrust, and he had extremely good people for labor unions. They had a law worked up where if a company engages in any kind of union busting, they have to immediately meet the demands of the union, because this country has a very long history of union busters. 100 years ago, they just fucking paid the police to go and shoot and kill people in the streets because they were petitioning for, labor rights or whatever. Trump has gutted labor rights mostly for federal workers, but he's just never done anything that was good on labor for the ordinary person. Whereas for all the failings Biden had, and I absolutely was disgusted with Biden for the railway union capitulation, but overall, far better track record with labor and workers.
Do you think that letting 10 to 15 million undocumented immigrants in over his term was a net positive for America?
I've heard the number maxed out at 8. I don't know where this growing thing went. So most of that is from a broken asylum system that we have. So that's one point. I'm in favor of, now if you want like a solution to it, you can close down the border through militarizing it and this terrorist campaign of sending people to Colombia's Guantanamo Bay. Or what the hell is it called? I can't remember the acronym. Whatever. That's one way of doing it. But so I think that immigration is a problem that neither side is really taking a serious stance on trying to solve, because they want it to be this tetherball issue that they can each use. And I'm disgusted on both sides with that.
I agree, and I feel like abortion on the left, and that's for immigration on the right.
But so like the immigration, right? So what's the specific problem you have with it?
We take in the most legal immigrants of any country in the world every year, and then we take in the most illegal immigrants every year out of any country in the world. And I just don't understand how anyone can think that that's sustainable or that that's a good thing for the average American citizen who's already here living in America. I don't understand how anyone can think that's good.
Sure. And
Microsoft laid off 10,000 or 8,000 workers the other day and then applied for like 10 to 15,000 H-1B visas. Like, why would we do that? Why are we doing that? Whether it's legal or
illegal. Who's against H-1B visas is Bernie Sanders, right? And he has compelling arguments about it that come from these companies in America choosing to outsource labor to, well, it's not really outsourcing, it's more like importing labor, because then they don't have to pay them as good a wages. Whereas, Americans should be afforded like these good wages or whatever. But like we have the like unsustainable system of too many millions of people are coming. It's like, okay, but so like, what's what like specifically kind of problem is this causing? And then what specifically do we do to fix it?
I don't have the answers for that, but I don't understand how no one like no one on the left seems to think that it's an issue at all. At least the right, puts it as a carrot on a stick out in front of their people, and the people on the right at least feel that way. I think that
There are
just comes down to the party thing. I think that honestly, there might need to be a third party where people who supported Bernie Sanders and ended up voting Donald Trump, obviously they have more nationalist ideas in common than what a lot of the globalist type people think about how America and the world should function. That's why there was a lot of overlap there. So I'm not mad at that at all. I just don't think that the people in power, left or right, care about American citizens at all.
Stop doing that blinker impersonation that's not being done with your car. But
Don't worry. I'm
so
almost gonna have to
like what specific, so like here's I'll give like I'll give kind of a generic response, and then I'm going to ask you a specific question. I don't think that even if Trump were to be president for yet a third term, which he wants to do, and that would be fucking horrible, but even if that happened, here's what would not happen. There would not all of a sudden be these towns in forgotten parts of America or in any part of America where all of a sudden all these people were shipped back to Mexico, and then all the whatever native born Americans or whatever start to get their jobs back. That isn't going to happen. They took our gerbs thing or argument, right? I don't see that actually happening. So it's like, okay, what problem are we trying to solve here? So like I would ask you, do you have, and if you don't have anything, that's fine. But like what specifically is oh, there's a really bad echo.
Sorry.
Coming from your side.
Is that better?
I guess we'll find out. Yeah, so far. So like what specific harm has immigration caused that you have found or have seen?
There's lots of brown people around him now.
Sorry. You cut off one more time. What's a what that I found?
What specific problem has immigration caused that you have? I'm not even asking for you that you've personally experienced, but that you have seen.
Have you seen any new houses be built recently? Okay,
Yes, like crazy.
Construction industry since high school.
Like where in my town, in my town, it is just absolutely booming. It's insane. And the vast and quite a lot of it is actually because of immigration. The majority of it, actually.
Yeah, my town too.
The what? The building out there is mostly because of immigration?
Yes.
And I bet everyone on that building site looks Hispanic.
Most of them do, yeah. But like half about half the city is Hispanic, though.
Okay.
They come from a less privileged background, and so jobs in like blue collar jobs are pretty common among first generation immigrants.
Sure, that's great. I have family who did that. I am the son of a first generation immigrant. Got amnesty during Reagan, and they still kept flowing in. It's not just Mexicans; it's South Americans. It's our southern border is completely porous. But when we're talking about, you asked me for a specific area where I can see issues. I've been in the construction industry since I've left high school, 18. I'm now 28. I can see the quality that immigrant workers bring is subpar. If you're buying a new house, you are buying a piece of shit. Honestly, I have to go do these inspections. I have to see what they're doing. And all these crews are subcontracted illegal immigrants. The company hires a contractor who's legal. all the subcontractors are illegal, and they don't give a shit what they do, and they're getting paid lower wages than an American worker would. It's
What
illegal.
penalties for
They're
the
getting paid.
employers has the Trump administration proposed? And like, why are we saying
care.
it's
I'm
why are
just
we
saying
why are we
that
blaming
that's
the
making
low
it
skilled
more-
immigration and not the people
I'm not
that are
blaming them. They came
responsible
over.
for
I'm
the
not blaming them. In business, of course, people are going to cut corners if they can. I'm saying that we should be in favor as a people of some sort of enforcement where these corners can't be cut. It shouldn't be a possibility. There should be American workers building these houses to the correct standards with correct wages.
What have you seen been proposed from any Republican in the country for bigger government, stricter regulation on something like that? Have you ever seen?
We don't need stricter regulation. We just need the regulations to be followed by the illegal workers that don't follow them.
Buddy, the immigrants that are doing the job, you're saying low skilled work is producing subpar housing.
Yes.
Okay, you're telling me that the employer of the immigrants it demands that they do an like go above and beyond, and they just don't do it?
No, the employer
Exactly.
of the immigrant.
So why are you
is a
blaming?
legal-
Why are you blaming the immigrant?
Why am I blaming the immigrant for not following standards?
I just asked you, is the employer demanding and expecting these higher standards and the immigrants are failing to meet to it? And you said no. The fault is in the people that are cutting corners. The immigrants are doing their job.
Okay, but you're not understanding
The
that
job
this employer
description.
is just their cousin who's legal.
What?
Yes, the companies who hire the contractors are asking for the standards to be followed, correct? The companies who hire the contractors are asking for standards to be followed. The contractors then hire subcontractors who don't give a fuck. There are still timelines that need to be
Why is it
fulfilled.
that immigrant subcontracted labor is uniquely unable to meet standards?
Closed by Christmas, and if they had to wait for all these
Matthew.
standards to actually be passed, they'd never get a house.
Matthew, why is it that subcontracted immigrant labor is just for some reason fundamentally unable to meet standards?
I don't know. Go ask them. Go ask them.
Then you don't have an argument.
That's not how that works. You can't say I don't have an argument because I don't know why these people have a culture.
You have a
of
claim
not
that you
doing
can't back
what's
up.
to standards. I have a claim that I can't explain.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because I can't explain it doesn't mean it's not a valid claim. These people, for some reason, don't do the job correctly. I don't know what's in their mind when they're not doing it. Why would they not do it correctly? If you were on the job, if I was on a job, we'd do it correctly, right? We would. If someone says you got to do it this
I would
way,
do the job
would
that
do it
is
that way.
asked of me.
Right. You would. They don't.
You just think that Mexican construction workers just lazily, haphazardly, or whatever do a worse
say they were
quality of work
Mexican.
than what white people or white people and Chinese people. You know, they built the railroad, so they really know what they're doing or something. Like, this is just like a weird, wild kind of racism.
It's not racism. I'm Mexican. I see it with my own
Okay.
eyes. I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe your life isn't a microcosm of the entire construction industry. Maybe that.
I think that honestly, a quick Twitter search or TikTok search, we're on the platform. You could see
jeez.
other people who are in the industry talking about exactly what I'm talking about. If you want to invalidate it based off of your feelings, I mean, I understand that this is just,
I'm asking you
conjecture.
for an explanation for your claims, and I'm
Why
really
would I
not
be
getting
able
one.
to
You're
explain
just
that?
saying
I
immigrant
told you I
labor
can't.
is just
It is.
shit labor.
For them, a lot of it is. There's a lot of hard workers. I know a lot of hardworking illegal dudes too, but a lot of them, the vast majority of them, suck.
Okay, and why is that?
I don't know why.
Right,
They don't
okay.
get paid much. They don't really care about the work that they're doing. They don't have, I think, American values and really caring about the thing that they're building for their neighbor. I mean, they don't give a fuck about this
so
house.
what are
They're
Mexican
just gonna get
values?
paid and then go home. What are Mexican values? I don't know what Mexican values are for people who come across the border, and it's not even always Mexicans, it's other South Americans as well. I mean, I don't think it's okay that they can come over here and be a leech off our systems anyways.
They don't
If they're
leech off
seeking
the systems. They pay
they're
into
seeking
the system,
asylum,
like in
if
Social
they're seeking
Security, and then they
asylum,
don't get
there's
anything
dozens
back
of other
from it.
countries that they cross through where they could seek asylum.
Buddy, how
Just
do
because
people,
they
buddy,
live on
how
our
is it that
doorstep
people
doesn't give
that are
them the
building
right
houses are
to come
leeching
over
off of
here.
this system?
There's other people in Africa or Eastern Europe.
Matthew, for fuck's sake, stop. How is it that immigrant laborers are leeching off of the system? And he left.